All right, and we are back. Welcome back to Take What You Can. My name is Terrell. We are on episode 20 already. 20. And still nobody's listening. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I've had so much fun doing this, and we've got a great episode today. So, first, we are going to focus on the Thursday night football game coming tomorrow. Again, sorry this is late. Good news, I actually found out that our offer on a house was accepted. So really exciting. That's kind of what I've been doing in my free time after work. So I didn't have time to record until later. But we'll definitely have one Thursday morning for anyone that's listening. But the Thursday night football game this week is going to be Rams versus 49ers at San Francisco. So, both teams are coming off of pretty important wins. I mean, the 49ers still have a chance to win the division. This game really might be for the division. So, despite all the losses that the 49ers have had, this is going to be their ticket to get to the playoffs, even despite losing Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Nick Bosa for a period of time. The linebacker's name is escaping me, not Fred Warner, but the other one that's really good that got hurt in the Super Bowl. I believe he's hurt as well. But yeah, we are very, very close to the playoffs, and this is where these kind of games are going to start, where even though records may not be as great, the Rams are 7-6 and the 49ers are 6-7, still this is going to be a good, hard-fought game. So I'm going to take a look at the divisional rankings here for the NFC West. Let me take a look here. NFC West, okay. Oh, wow, this might not even be for the division. I forgot the Seahawks were 8-5. Wow. Yikes. Now the question becomes, do the 49ers play the Seahawks again? 49ers schedule. This is going to end up being a tight race. Let me take a look here. Okay, no, the 49ers lost to the Seahawks the last time they played. Okay, so they really might not even have a chance. I mean, I can take a look at the overall standings, but yikes, yeah. Holy cow. Let me see here. What are the playoffs looking like at this point? My computer is slow here, but no worries. Okay, so NFL playoff picture. That's what we're going to take a look at. I want to see if the 49ers really have a chance to even get in here. I forgot, because I know Atlanta lost, so I don't know if they're still in the 4 slot. Oh, thanks, Alexa. Let's see here. Load for me. While this is loading, San Francisco, they are 3-point favorites in this game. Interesting. Even though the Rams are coming off a huge game. Okay, Commanders, or Redskins as I like to call them, are the 7th seed. So, wow. Wow, the 49ers have a really hard chance of making the playoffs. Okay, well, this is more for the Rams then at this point. They're going to have to win out and have some luck here. Do they play the Seahawks? That's the next question. If they do, it's probably week 18. Ooh, that's going to be a good game. That's probably going to be for the division. If the Rams can pull this win off, they've got the Jets, which I think they can easily beat them. The Cardinals, even though it's divisional, I think they've got the edge up on them. It might be a hard game, but yeah, wow. Who do the Seahawks have left? Who do the Seahawks have left this year? Okay, obviously they have the Rams. Let's see. They've got the Rams. No, I'm sorry. They don't have the Rams. Sorry. I mixed up my teams here. They don't have the Rams. They have the Packers. On Sunday Night Football, that one's going to be a good game. They have the Vikings, they have the Bears, then they have the Rams. Oof. That's a tough 4-game stretch. Holy cow. Yeah, and the Rams don't have... Yeah, this... I think I might pick the Rams in this game. I think they have more to play for, even though it's at San Francisco. What was the last time they played? Rams 49ers. The Rams won 24-27. I don't think they had Puka Nacua at the time. Yeah, Puka wasn't playing. Wow, and Cooper Kupp wasn't playing either, and they still won. Holy cow. After being down 14-0 after the first quarter. Holy cow. Well, good for them. Yeah, I think at this point, with the way the Rams are playing, the fact that they beat the Bills the way that they did, I mean, their offense just looked unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. I'm honestly surprised the 49ers are favored in this game. If I was a betting man, I would definitely take the Rams in this one. That's definitely what I'd take. Is there anybody that's hurt on the 49ers? Okay, Nick Bosa's questionable. Trent Williams is going to be out. Everybody else is on IR. I don't really, obviously losing Christian McCaffrey is a big deal. I don't think losing Jordan Mason is that big of a deal. I know he did a serviceable job, but I don't think it really, it obviously matters, but it doesn't matter as much who you put at running back for the 49ers. I think they're going to thrive either way. Okay. So, really, I mean, Nick Bosa's not playing. That's really the big one that they have. Otherwise, Alaric Jackson is questionable. Whittington, Demarcus Robinson are questionable. Otherwise, they're good, man. They are good. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick the Rams in this game. And then from there, looking at their schedule, again, the Jets, I think they can definitely beat the Jets. The Cardinals, how did they play them the last time? Holy cow. They lost 41-10 against the Cardinals last time. Holy cow. They didn't have Puka. Cooper Kupp was 4 catches, 37 yards. Yeah, man. Wow, they got whooped. But I think at this point, the Rams might be the better team. I don't know. This will be interesting. I think let's pull up these matchups here. So I'm going to pull up Rams versus Cardinals. Again, I'm on PFF. I'm just going to pull up the lineups here. We're going to start with the Rams offense versus the Cardinals defense, because I have no doubt that they can beat the Jets. If they don't beat the Jets, their chances of making the playoffs are going to be pretty slim. Actually, I mean, the Seahawks could lose. Definitely could lose. So maybe not, but you don't want to lose to the Jets when you're trying to make the playoffs. Okay. So basically, I'm going to start here with the offensive line versus defensive line. The tackles are solid, and one of their guards are solid. The Cardinals' defensive line hasn't been grading well, but I know from watching them play, they definitely can create pressure through blitzes, especially just out of nowhere. They have very creative blitzes. Wide receiver versus corner matchup, I don't think there's many corners or corner groups, DB groups, that are going to match up with the receivers that the Rams have at this point. Kyron Williams is solid, obviously, more than solid. So I would definitely give the edge up on the Rams offense versus the Cardinals defense. Now, where the game gets interesting is the flip side. So we're going to pull up the Cardinals offense versus the Rams defense here while it loads, because I know the Cardinals just lost. I believe they just lost to the Seahawks, which I think I picked the Cardinals because I thought they were going to split the series, but we'll see. Okay. Let me pull up the Rams here. So Cardinals offense, Rams defense. Obviously, the Rams defense is kind of their Achilles heel here, but they have a lot of young talent. It's just a matter of, can they produce? Is their lack of experience going to hold them back? Kobe Turner's playing well. Brandon Fiskey's playing well. Braden Fiskey. Jared Verse is playing well as well. They're getting a lot. I mean, we've covered this before, but they're getting a lot of production from their young team, their young defense. Obviously, they have Byron Young as well, one of the oldest rookies I've ever seen last year. Corners are solid-ish. Safeties aren't playing bad. But I'm really, I think I was talking about it with my dad. I'm really impressed with where Kyler Murray is as a quarterback. When you watch him play, you just get a really good sense that he understands football at a deeper level than he did earlier in his career. Because when he first started in the NFL, he was still kind of doing the clapping thing from college. He came from an air raid offense. Obviously, when he got into the NFL, he was still playing in a college-style offense. But with this offense, you can see he's making complex reads. You can see that he's taking the check down a lot more. When he does run, it's smart and calculated. Trey McBride is a beast. Marvin Harrison is a beast. He just needs a little bit more time to develop. He does need to rely a little more on his knowledge of the game. He's very talented, but he's not a physical freak by any means. So when you come into the NFL, there is a little bit of a learning gap when you are not physically freakish, because you have to make up for it in other ways. So we all know how I feel about Michael Wilson. He's amazing. Their offensive line is playing kind of solid. They're not great still. They still need to invest some more resources in there. I would give the edge up on the Cardinals offense. So this is my thought process. The Cardinals offense is better than the Rams defense. The Rams offense is better than the Cardinals defense. However, I believe in the Cardinals defense as a whole more than the Rams defense probably at this point, in terms of schematically and just how they attack opponents. However, I just think that the talent gap might be bigger for the Rams offense versus Cardinals defense versus vice versa. So I think the Cardinals offense will do well against the Rams defense, but I don't think the gap is as big as Rams offense, Cardinals defense. So I'm going to give the edge to the Rams in that game. Let's take a look. Even though I think it'll be like a single touchdown game or a one-score game, it'll be tough for the Rams, but I think they'll come out victorious. The next one is going to be the Seahawks. So let's say it comes down to that last game. Say they're tied, or say the Rams are down one game, or even the Seahawks are down one game. Whoever wins that game more than likely is going to win the division. And from there, more than likely the other one isn't going to make the playoffs, depending on how the Redskins do in their final few weeks. I know they just had a bye week, so we will see. But let's compare those as well. Let's start with the Seahawks offense and the Rams defense. Let's start with that. So I'm pulling this up here. Okay. So obviously we know that the Seahawks offensive line struggles at times. Charles Cross is playing very well, seemingly. Abraham Lucas is solid. He's had his moments where he definitely could be better, but he's been solid. They've got Lincoln Tomlinson, who's a solid vet. He's not necessarily playing his best football, but he is solid. Their center, meh. Their right guard, meh. I don't know if their right guard is hurt. Let me see. Because the guy they have slotted in there is grading very badly. They have another guard, but again, he's not great either. So that interior offensive line is definitely a struggle. I'm going to pull this up one more time. I clicked out of it here. That interior offensive line is Definitely a struggle, like I said. I think this Rams defensive line, though they are young, I think they're going to do a lot of damage on that inside interior offensive line. I think they might stunt a lot. You know, someone like Jared Verse, you don't want him humming down the A gap or the B gap. Braden Fiske. Yeah, a lot of these guys are just really talented pass rushers. They're just young. Actually, Braden Fiske and Byron Young aren't that young, but they are inexperienced in terms of NFL play. So I do give the edge up on them. The Seahawks offense tends to be, at least talent-wise, is definitely a boom or bust kind of offense. So I don't think Geno Smith's going to have a lot of time, but he definitely has a lot of talented receivers. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is a really good slot receiver that can kind of work the soft zone in the middle of the field, you know, crossing routes down the middle of the field, things like that. Try to get open quickly. Even Noah Fant, you know, he's not the perfect tight end, but he's fast. You can get him on a quick, like, drag route, just going across the field. And Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, if Kenneth Walker is healthy, it looks like he may not be. So I would give... I might give us very slight edge to the Seahawks offense, but it's like 51-49. So let's do the flip side here. Let's do Rams offense, Seahawks defense. Now, it's probably going to be unlikely that I would ever say someone's defense is probably better than the Rams offense unless they have a really talented defensive line and they're just going to feast on that interior offensive line of the Rams. So we'll see how it matches up. I'm pulling it up now. Leonard Williams is playing very well, seemingly here. They got Nwosu. They got Boye Mafe. You know, they definitely have some pass rushers. You know, Draymond Jones is, I believe, a little more of a run stopper, if I'm not wrong. But they do have talent. I mean, Witherspoon is great. Tariq Woolen's great. Julian Love's playing out of his mind now that he's out of New York. And you got Kobe Bryant, who they moved to safety, who's been playing pretty well too. And they just got a solid young defense. I think they just make some mistakes. I mean, I don't know if the Seahawks defensive line is talented enough to really do a lot of damage. But again, I mean, I think their head coach comes from Baltimore, so maybe they'll have a little more like zone blitzes. I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched the Seahawks play a lot, but just looking off talent alone, I mean, the Rams, I think, have the advantage. I think it's closer than I initially thought because you really have some good DBs out there. But I would give maybe the Rams like a 60-40 edge, maybe 65-35. No, I wouldn't go that far. 60-40. So I'm going to give this to the Rams. I think the Seahawks are in trouble, man. I mean, I know they started out the year good, and then it got shaky for a while, and then they've really bounced back. But I don't know. If I'm the Seahawks, I'd be scared because I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to lose the division. And the main way they're going to make the playoffs if the Redskins don't do well towards the end, because the Packers are probably going to finish well. The Vikings are already 11-2. Like, you're not going to get higher than the 5 seed. Let me see the Packers schedule. Let's see who they have left, because they are 9-4, so you're only a game behind them. So maybe that goes well for them. But I think they've played already. Have they played? Oh my gosh, they're about to play. Duh. Okay. Sunday Night Football, that's going to be huge for the Seahawks. I literally just talked about this. I feel dumb. But that's going to be huge for the Seahawks. Because, like, if it's a very real possibility that they won't win their division. But if they beat Green Bay, then I believe as long as they stay within the same amount of, like, wins, I think they should have the edge up on them because they beat them. I believe that's how it works. I know that's definitely how it works for divisional, But if they've beaten each other, if one of them has beaten the other, I think they're automatically a half game up on them. So this game is huge. Holy cow. This has bigger implications than I thought. Wow. This is huge for both teams. Because even the Packers, like, yes, they're playing the Saints. They'll probably beat the Saints. They'll probably beat the Bears. You know, but last time it was only a 1-point game, and they play the Vikings still. So, you know, that's not, it's not as hard as the Seahawks schedule, what they have left, but it's definitely not as bad. Or it's definitely not easy, I'm sorry. Definitely not an easy schedule. But, yeah, I guess just kind of backtrack. I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think they're going to win out. If not, they'll go, because 7-6, I think they'll either be 10-7 or 11-6. And they're going to win this division. I think that's a real possibility. And I think they're going to do it. I really do. And I'm excited to watch Sunday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. We got a lot of good games coming. We'll cover that more on Friday. For those of you who don't know, kind of the schedule is Monday. It's kind of reaction to what just happened in the Sunday night games. Tuesday, it's like the first part of it, so I break it down in 2 episodes. Monday is more of the first half of games from Sunday, and then the Tuesday podcast is the last Sunday games and the Monday night game. Wednesday's more of, let's look at Thursday Night Football. Let's talk about something big in the NFL news, and we'll talk about that in a second with Bill Belichick getting hired to UNC for 5 years. Thursday's always a random Thursday. I just scroll through X, find any news, NFL related, politics, world, funny stuff, anything. We just go through it, kind of just have a fun day of the week. And then Friday, we go through the Sunday games, the rest of the games, the Sunday and the Monday game, and make our predictions. So that's kind of the schedule here, at least as of now. But yeah, let's go into what I mentioned. Let's go into Bill Belichick. So for those of you who don't know, I'm really, really into the draft when it comes. I scout players. I deep dive into, who's coming into the NFL. But in terms of actually following college football, I don't do that very often. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the UNC Tar Heels as a football team based off of who we got on the College Football 25 roster. Because otherwise I have no idea who's coming up the chain of command here at each position. However, I do want to talk about the signing itself. I do want to talk about that. Okay, so I first saw this article on Bleacher Report. So this is from an article written by Doric Sam. The headline is Bill Belichick, UNC, agree to a 5-year head coach contract. NFL legend won 8 Super Bowls. So legendary head coach Bill Belichick will be turning to the sidelines in 2025, but not in the NFL. I'm excited for the opportunity at UNC Chapel Hill. I grew up around college football with my dad and treasured those times. Belichick said in a press release, I've always wanted to coach in college, and now I look forward to building the football program in Chapel Hill. I know somebody said that his grandpa used to coach around there. I know Mac Brown's gone. That's a huge story as well. He's a revered coach. But I know Belichick talked about like having security, having control, because Belichick's been the GM and the head coach of the Patriots during his tenure, most of his tenure. So he's used to making all the decisions. But yeah, he's really going to take the reins here, it seems like. But also what I want to cover, because Tom Brady, Gronk, Edelman responded to Bill Belichick going to UNC, or the possibility of him going to college. And this was on a on a live show here. So this is an article from NBC Sports Boston from Justin Leaguer. So basically, Tom Brady said they couldn't imagine him coaching college kids. Brady kind of imitated him, saying like, here, let's see this. I think, this is from Brian Hoyer. So I think everybody who played for Bill, we all have the same reaction. Hoyer said, we've seen Tom Brady talk about it. We've seen Jonathan Jones. He talked about it like, oh, you want more NIL money? Well, why don't you worry about your history class? Because that's the way he talked to us. I think he's going to have some adaptation here. When Tom Brady mentioned Bill Belichick coaching in college, he was kind of like, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was kind of like, oh, well, you don't want to come here. We don't want you anyway. You can come if you want to. And it is interesting that he's going there during this big revolution of NIL money, which has made it more of a professional type league. So I'm really just curious to see how he'll actually handle that, because this isn't the same college football, which I think he definitely would have thrived in a lot more than he would in an NIL type environment, which maybe they're willing to commit a lot of money to players and get in the right people. That's fine, but I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of it too. He's 72 years old. So by the end of his contract, he'd be 77, So, I mean, that's old. That's old to be traveling across the country and working late. But, I mean, some people are built for that, especially if he's older, and he's used to it. Maybe that won't affect him as much. But it is interesting. It also tells me that he definitely did not have the response as an NFL coach that he thought he would, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And I don't know, he's got to be a great football coach. Like, after what's happened, it's made me really second guess how I feel about Bill Belichick. But I mean, come on. I don't care if it's Tom Brady with him. Like, you can't be a terrible head coach and still win, Tom Brady's great, but he's not that great. He can't carry a whole team. So, I mean, yeah, you can't win 8 Super Bowls together and the coach has nothing to do with it, That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. So, even though I'm a little skeptical, obviously I know he's a good coach. I really just question how he's gonna really win and make it work. Because UNC's in what? UNC in what conference? What conference are they in? It's not the SEC. No, it's the Atlantic Coast Conference. So they're in the ACC. Football ACC conference. I want to see who else is in this conference. So we've got SMU, we've got Clemson, we've got, I believe, Miami. Hold on, loading for me real quick. Of course, their first post is about Bill Belichick. That makes sense. Let me see. I'm going back here. Standings. I'm just going to pull up the standings. I want to see who else is in this conference. So SMU, Clemson, Miami, Syracuse, Duke, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Boston College, Virginia Tech, Pitt, NC State, North Carolina, Virginia, Cal, Wake Forest, Stanford, and Florida State. That's a solid conference, man. I know not all their records are great, but just off the cachet, I guess you could say, of all these programs and their history, this is definitely a difficult conference. It's not the SEC. I mean, I know the SEC is kind of going downhill a bit. It's not even the Big Ten either. So you're going to have some real competition here. With that being said, well, the question becomes, what kind of talent does he have? So we're going to go in the very professional manner. We're going to go to college football 25 for our roster here. So obviously, every player on this game is not going to be there next year. Some are seniors, some are juniors. I'm just going to, I don't know who's committed here. I'm just going to go kind of a breakdown of who they currently have. So projected based off who they have, their current starting quarterback would be Connor Harrell, who is currently a sophomore, going to go into his junior year. Not a red shirt. He looks like more, they kind of have archetypes in this game, and his archetype is scrambler. So he has the ability to run around. He's 6'2", 210, so solid build for someone nowadays playing quarterback. It seems like he's got decent accuracy, especially on the run, and a decent arm in general. So he's got kind of a running option at quarterback, which I know Bill doesn't love, but he also has tried to love before. So who knows? Maybe. Probably the most interesting one, I believe this is their top-rated player, Omarion Hampton. So let's see so he's a junior. Let's see if he plans on declaring. Let's see. Okay. It sounds like he's going. Okay. So even though he's a junior, they said he's like 22. So, okay. Very talented running back, but seems like he will be in the NFL by the time Bill Belichick joins. Then the next best guy that they have would be Davion Goss, a freshman from Florida, 5'11", 215, more of a power runner. Not super speedy, not super agile, but definitely more of a power runner. I don't doubt that whoever Bill plays at running back, they're probably going to have a rotation, and they're going to have guys with different skill sets. Let's see here. So they kind of have more of a power runner. Otherwise, they've got two power runners at this point. Fullback, that doesn't matter too much. Let's see here. They're really lacking in wide receivers. I mean, their top two wide receivers are seniors. Another is a junior, more of like a route running kind of guy, 6'1", 190. We've got Kobe Paysor, however you say it. We got Christian Hamilton, who's more of a speedy guy. We've got Chris Culver, who's more of a speedy guy as well. So we definitely have some guys who can run routes. They have breakaway speed. They're not the biggest kind of guys, which is fine. I think Bill's going to want different kind of guys. He's always like that in his kind of offenses here. Tight end, they've got a talented sophomore in Jake Johnson. He's kind of a vertical guy, 6'6", 240. He's got different attributes here. So I think that's someone they'll really like. Kind of a Gronk mold. I think that was around Gronk's weight. I know that was around his height for sure. He was definitely around 6'6", 6'5". Let's see where we got for the offensive line. So we have some talent. Let's see here. Definitely some talent at left tackle, some sophomores. Right tackle as well, some sophomores that are going to be juniors. You got a talented right guard in Zach Rice, more of a power guard. Okay, you have some options. Center's a little weak, but you have some options at the offensive line. Defensive line, you have some young guys that are options. You also have some really solid pass rushers that are going to be leaving. D tackle, you might be a little thin at first. Otherwise, you have solid players all around. You have a good amount of guys leaving, but you have solid players all around. At the end of the day, this is a pretty historic program. Maybe not necessarily in winning, but UNC is a big school with a lot of winning under their belt in different sports. So just kind of an overview of what we saw. We've got more of a running quarterback. We've got some power running backs. Definitely some young depth on the offensive line. speedsters, route runners at wide receiver, a Gronk build and tight end, young kind of up-and-coming defensive line, linebackers. You definitely have some more talented people in the secondary, which Bill Belichick always loves. So, I mean, you really have a team that you can work with. Oops, I'm hitting the mic here. You really have a team that you can work with. So, it's a good place to start, It's really a good place to start. But let's see ACC standings here. Where did the UNC Tar Heels start? Or where did they finish? I'm sorry. So overall, they were 6-6. So they were about even, which isn't great. Let's see, obviously for college football, UNC football schedule. Let's see who they played. 2024. I'm just pulling up UNC's schedule here. Duke's Mayo Bowl. Gross. Okay. So first game, August 29th, 2024. They beat Minnesota by 2. They beat Charlotte. They beat NC Central. They started out 3-0. Okay. Wow. No wonder they got fired because they must have went downhill. They lost to James Madison 70-50. Holy cow. Okay. Imagine getting 70 points scored on you. That's crazy. Or imagine being an offense that drops 50 and you still can't win the game. Duke, you lost by 1, which that is a huge rivalry, so that was probably a riot after. You lost to Pittsburgh 34-24, lost to Georgia Tech 41-34. Yikes. Okay, you beat Virginia 41-14. You beat Florida State, which I know they haven't had a great season. However, I know they're definitely a better program over time than UNC. You beat them 35-11. You beat Wake Forest 31-24. You lost to Boston College 41-21. And you lost to NC State 35-30. So a lot of these games, they were pretty close. It seems like they really just dropped the ball against James Madison. Otherwise, you're having like 1-score losses here. I mean, Boston College kind of whooped you, but I'm pretty sure Boston College is... Oh, no, they weren't good this year. Okay. Well, I guess I'm wrong, but either way, you were close. You just seem like a team that's kind of descending, and you really need a spark to kind of get you over the edge, and someone like Bill Belichick will be that. I just don't know if Bill's going to be able to relate to kids nowadays. I mean, maybe it'll be easier because I think, kids or teenagers or guys in their early 20s they'll take being talked to a certain way a little more than NFL players. So, the whole do your job thing, I don't know. We'll see. Do you know, I'm sitting here asking you like you're a person sitting right next to me. I want to know what their 2025 schedule is, if they've got it already. Okay. So they're playing TCU, Charlotte, Richmond, okay? Central Florida, Cal, NC State, Clemson, Duke, Stanford, Virginia, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. Not necessarily in that order. None of these dates are confirmed, but these seemingly are who they're going to play. So a lot of, ACC conference teams, as you would expect. Definitely not an easy schedule, but definitely not an impossible one either. So if you get the right people in there, especially if you get some people from the transfer portal, I think it's a real option. I think Bill Belichick can really, really make this an option. Let's see. Okay, then the question becomes, who are going to be his coordinators? Because his two main guys could probably use jobs. Maybe Josh McDaniels. But to me, I don't know, because I feel like Josh McDaniels probably could have got a college job as a head coach. So would he really want to be an offensive coordinator for a college football Bill Belichick-led team? You know? But, I mean, maybe these guys get a little desperate, you know? I mean, this guy's considered the greatest football coach of all time, NFL coach of all time in a lot of people's eyes. And this is where we're at, you know? He's taken UNC. He's not even taking the best option, I don't think. I don't even think he's taking the best option in college football. I don't know what the available spots were, but, I mean, it's not even the best team in college football. So, Josh McDaniels. Next, I think, is Matt Patricia, you know. I'll be interested to see, because I know Matt Patricia, I think he's a consultant for the Eagles right now. Matt Patricia, give credit to Dan Campbell for Detroit's rebuild. Yeah, dude, because he's like a grown man who believes in people. He's not a smug dude. You just seem like a really smug dude. Like, dude doesn't even use the pencil, wears a pencil in his ear. Like, how would you take this guy seriously, you know? I would have a hard time doing it. He's like telling me what to do. He's got a pencil in his ear the whole time. I don't know. That's crazy. But Bill Belichick. Wow, Bill looks kind of old. Everybody's making fun of his girlfriend. They're like, oh, he's going to his girlfriend's school. Watch him like cheat on this girl with another college girl or something. You know? Wait, I didn't even think about it. Steven Belichick, his son, is the defensive coordinator at the University of Washington. So, holy cow. He's probably going there. Why wouldn't he? You know? I think that's probably the best spot for him. I think Washington might have a better team, but obviously they're not playing well as well. But, well, I want to see what this says. Mass Live is reporting. This was from literally yesterday. Who is this written by? Nick O'Malley. So, Bill Belichick considering offer for UNC job, but there is a catch. Is it going to make me subscribe to this? I hope not. Okay. But there's a catch report. Let's see here. What's the catch? Is it his son? The note about, let me see here. The key is a North Carolina job. The potential role of his son. Okay. His son involved NIL resources and Belichick's salary and resources for the staff. Okay. I mean, UNC is probably going to have a lot of money, right? Let's just type it in. Does UNC have a lot of money? Can Bill Belichick do what he's trying to do? Okay, we're just talking about people's tuition here. I mean, UNC campus. Let's just see what kind of campus we got here. Is it nice? They got 91% graduation rate, 17% acceptance rate. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a legit school. It looks beautiful there. I would have loved to go to USC or USC. UNC. That would have been a beautiful school to go to. It looks very like rich in history and the architecture looks cool. But I mean, maybe UNC NIL money. I really want to figure out what kind of... I feel like they should have rankings of NIL money. Okay, UNC... Okay, let's... This is from Yahoo Sports. I don't know if this is actually going to tell us real, numbers here. But this is from Matthew Bagel. Okay. Headline is UNC football drastically increasing NIL program for new coach. UNC football has previously had a budget of $4 million to spend on NIL. According to Matt Hayes, the number has jumped $16 million to a total of $20 million. Holy. Okay. Sources tell me UNC will increase NIL package for football from $4 million to $20 million in an effort to land Belichick. Okay. Well, then the question becomes, how does that rank against other like football programs? NIL money rankings, football programs. Maybe that'll work here. Okay. College football's top 50 programs ranked by NIL efforts. This does not make... This does not look good for UNC. But it just said North Carolina was 344. What? Okay. Okay, that doesn't seem right. Let me see here. Valuations. Okay, this is from on3.com. Oh, no, these are just for players. Okay. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it have them by rankings and then they put $300 million for UNC? That doesn't make sense. Okay, either way. So when was this article written? August 27th. Either way, UNC was ranked at number 30 at $344 million. So if they're increasing it a good amount of money, I mean, I mean, they're ranked 30. That's definitely solid, you know. Who's ranked 1 here? Let's see where we're at. Gotta keep going here. Wow. Oregon, that makes sense. Texas A&M, y'all got to do better then. Texas Longhorns, yeah. Florida Gators, Georgia, Oklahoma State, wow. LSU Tigers, Oklahoma Sooners, Auburn Tigers. Okay, yeah, I mean, they're forking out a lot of money. UNC's ranked 30th. They're increasing what they're willing to spend here. But what else do we got here? Schools must stay within a cap projected now for $20.5 million in 1 year. Okay. Is that like per person? Okay, this makes sense. Okay. This is from Pat McAfee. A lot of colleges are looking at NFL-type models to structure personnel and coaching. That makes sense. Okay, the job is obviously too big for one person. You need a general manager, a coach, and a salary cap manager. Yeah. I mean, that's a different aspect of it that I hadn't thought of. Because, yes, can Bill really relate to kids? Maybe not. However, if they want to get paid like professionals, then maybe he's got to treat them like professionals. That's the other aspect of this. So, this is someone who knows how to run a team, knows how to manage a cap. Maybe Bill was a really good hire. That's an interesting aspect of it that I hadn't thought of. Because maybe it doesn't matter if he can connect to these kids because these kids don't care about anything but money from what it sounds like. I don't think Bill cares about developing their character. I think Bill just wants to win. Nick Saban wants to win too, but he also cares about building young men's characters. And, wow. Maybe this is really smart. Really, really smart. I think I might change my opinion on this. And this is why you get curious, you know? This is why you ask questions. This is why you learn, do your own research, get a real strong opinion. That's insane. That makes so much sense. Maybe this is really just a smart move for UNC, and maybe other college football teams will be following them because the NFL structure, that makes sense. You can't hate. Then maybe college football will feel a lot more like it'll get players ready for the pros more than we realize. It might not develop their character, may not make them better people, but, it's a business now. Time to be grown men now. We're going to be grown men. When we go into college, then we're going to be grown men. You want real money, you got to act like a grown man. You want millions of dollars a year, or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, or even almost $100,000 a year. And then you got to be responsible, and you got to act like a grown man. So I'm not saying this is necessarily a great thing, but maybe it's a good thing. It's definitely a complex issue, and I think only time will tell what's going to happen. But I think my honest opinion, I'd really like to see where or who he picks as his offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I think it's going to be his son. If it's Josh McDaniels, that would be interesting. So if we've got Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, Steven Belichick, UNC is paying a lot of money. He's managing the cap. He's managing the team. You have some real people who want to be treated like adults. I mean, they're going to fork over money, and they're going to want to learn how to be a pro. I mean, I'm not saying they're winning the national championship anytime soon, but I don't know. Maybe they have a real chance. That's all I'm saying. I think maybe they honestly could have a real chance. So don't be surprised if, Bill Belichick's making it in the college football playoff, Because I wouldn't be surprised. Because what is it? How many teams? How many teams are in the college football playoff this year? 12 teams. Let's see if it's going to change next year, because I feel like they increase it like every single year. Okay, 12 teams. I mean, if you're telling me that going into this season, UNC was forking over the 30th ranked NIL money, and now they're increasing it even more for Bill Belichick. Let's even lowball it. Say he's top 25. Say he's number 25 in NIL money. With the resources of top 25 kind of resources, with his son as defensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinator, you're really going to doubt Bill Belichick's ability to be one of the top 12 teams when he's got the top 25 most resources? I don't know if I would. I know it's cool to hate on Bill Belichick nowadays, but I don't know if I would. I really don't. And I mean, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet against him. I definitely wouldn't. So, because even, I mean, I have no idea about the college football landscape. College football playoff 2024. I can't even tell you who the ranked teams are. I know Oregon's one, but let's see here. Because are we already in the playoff bracket? Is it for sure at this point? Okay, so the bracket, top 25 rankings, December 8th. No, the top does not always match the seed in the playoff. The fifth highest rank. Okay. Okay, so these are already like scheduled. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so first game we've got Tennessee, Ohio State. Okay, I know Ohio State's kind of dropped off. Tennessee's on the rise. Clemson, Texas. I did not know Clemson was even close here. And then we've got Indiana versus Notre Dame, SMU versus Penn State, and then we've got Oregon, Arizona State, Boise State, and Georgia in the top four. This is crazy. Holy cow. So then, okay, so whoever wins Tennessee, Ohio State plays Oregon. Whoever wins Clemson, Texas plays Arizona State. Whoever wins Indiana, Notre Dame plays Georgia. Whoever wins SMU, Penn State plays Boise State. Okay. So, I mean, you got Indiana. I mean, again, I do not know anything about the landscape of these teams and the college football playoff and how good they actually are. But when I think about the historical programs of teams like, and by historical, I guess I mean recent history of Indiana, SMU, even Notre Dame to a certain extent, Arizona State, Tennessee to a certain extent, Boise State for sure. And then I think about Bill Belichick with resources. I don't know. To me, I mean, I could sound really dumb. I don't claim to be an expert on this about college football. I know a lot more about NFL and college players when they're going into the draft, and I learn a lot more about them. But, yeah, I don't know, man. To me, it's just so hard to bet against Bill Belichick in this landscape. You know, and I know there's a lot of teams that have really fallen off that could be on here, like, Alabama. We've got Michigan, LSU. I mean, Florida. I mean, not really Florida, but Florida. Oklahoma. Oops, hitting the mic again. Sorry. Oklahoma. I said Oklahoma weird. Oklahoma. And, yeah, I mean, I know we have a lot of people missing, but, again, I'll say it one more time and then I'll be done. I have a hard time doubting Bill Belichick in college football. I was really skeptical at first, but I really do have a hard time doubting him. But, yeah. I mean, I guess moving forward in the week, I mean, tomorrow we'll have Random Thursday. And then Friday we'll break down some of the games. I'm excited for games like, again, the Thursday night game, Rams, 49ers. We got Vikings, Bears. That'll be interesting. Packers, Seahawks. That has a lot of implications. And which, oh my gosh, should be like the Monday night game. Steelers, Eagles. That's going to be such a good game, dude. Holy cow. And they're both in, Pennsylvania. That's going to be a good game. And we got Detroit, Buffalo. That's going to be an insane game. Buccaneers, Chargers. That'll be a pretty good game, too. So we got a lot of good games coming up. What am I most excited for? Wow. Because Rams, 49ers, I'm not as excited as some of these other games. But, I mean, Buffalo, Detroit. I think I'm most excited for Steelers, Eagles. I think that'll be the best game. What network is that on? Steelers versus Eagles network. Is it CBS? Okay, it's going to be on Fox. That's okay. I'll probably be able to watch it here. Actually, it looks like I will be able to. Thank God, because that'll be, oh my gosh. That'll be such a good game. Holy cow. I'm excited. I mean, Bills. Oh, wait. Well, I actually might get Bills versus Lions. I actually might get that game instead based off where I'm located. Yeah, I might get that one. That one's the CBS game. Okay. So, oh, my gosh. I get to go back and forth between these games. And then Sunday night, you got Green Bay, Seattle. Yeah. I'm going to let my wife know we are not doing anything during these times. I'm going to let her know right when I get off this podcast because holy cow. And the Vikings play on Monday night. So she can't complain. Actually, I might have to work Monday night. So no. Dang it, dude. Okay. Either way, we'll take what we can. And that's the perfect transition. There we go. I didn't even mean that. But thank you for listening. Don't forget that Jesus loves you. That's the overall message of all of this. That's the reason I'm doing this. He died on the cross for your sins. He gives you eternal salvation. He guides you. I know I'm so grateful to him. I pray to him every day. And this time of my life so exciting. Buying a house, been married for almost 6 months now. Just a beautiful thing. So much to be thankful for. So much. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't even listening to this podcast, but I'm so thankful that I even get to do this, and the Lord has led me this way, and really shown me a path that is real and guided me through this. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for you all. Get ready for a random Thursday tomorrow. Thanks for listening so late. Y'all have a great night. Take care now.